Chigger pulled into the desert area shortly before noon and parked just below Moss's trailer and shut off the engine. He got out and walked across the raw dirt yard and climbed the steps and tapped at the aluminum door. He waited. Then he tapped again. He turned and stood with his back to the trailer and studied the little park. Nothing moved. Not a dog. He turned and put his wrist to the door lock and shot out the lock cylinder with the cobalt steel plunger of the cattle gun and opened the door and went in and shut the door behind him. He stood, the deputy's revolver in his hand. He looked in the kitchen. He walked back into the bedroom. He walked through the bedroom and pushed open the bathroom door and went into the second bedroom. Clothes on the floor. The closet door open. He opened the top dresser drawer and closed it again. He put the gun back in his belt and pulled his shirt over it and walked back out to the kitchen. He opened the refrigerator and took out a carton of milk and opened it and smelled it and drank. He stood there holding the carton in one hand and looking out the window. He drank again, and then he put the carton back in the refrigerator and shut the door. He went into the living room and sat on the sofa. There was a perfectly good 21-inch television on the table. He looked at himself in the dead gray screen. He rose and got the mail off the floor and sat back down and went through it. He folded 3 of the envelopes and put them in his shirt pocket, and then rose and went out. He drove down and parked in front of the office and went in. "Yes, sir," the woman said. "I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss." She studied him. "Did you go up to his trailer?" "Yes, I did." "Well, I'd say he's at work. Did you want to leave a message? Where does he work?" "Sir, I ain't at liberty to give out no information about our residents." Chigger looked around at the little plywood office. He looked at the woman. "Where does he work?" "Sir," I said, "where does he work? Did you not hear me? We can't give out no information." A toilet flushed somewhere. A door latch clicked. Chigger looked at the woman again. Then he went out and got in the ram charger and left. He pulled in at the cafe and took the envelopes out of his shirt pocket and unfolded them and opened them and read the letters inside. He opened the phone bill and looked at the charges. There were calls to Del Rio and to Odessa. He went in and got some change and went to the payphone and dialed the Del Rio number, but there was no answer. He called the Odessa number, and a woman answered, and he asked for Llewellyn. The woman said he wasn't there. I tried to reach him in Sanderson, but I don't believe he's there anymore. There was a silence. Then the woman said, "I don't know where he's at. Who is this?" Chigger hung up the phone and went over to the counter and sat down and ordered a cup of coffee. "Has Llewellyn been in?" he said. When he pulled up in front of the garage, there were 2 men sitting with their backs to the wall of the building eating their lunches. He went in. There was a man at the desk drinking coffee and listening to the radio. "Yes, sir," he said. "I was looking for Llewellyn. He ain't here. What time do you expect him?" "I don't know. He ain't called in or nothing, so your guess is as good as mine." He leaned his head slightly, as if he'd get another look at Chigger. "Is there something I can help you with?" "I don't think so." Outside, he stood on the broken, oil-stained pavement. He looked at the 2 men sitting at the end of the building. "Do you know where Llewellyn is?" They shook their heads. Chigger got into the ram charger and pulled out and went back toward town. The bus pulled into Del Rio in the early afternoon, and Moss got his bags and climbed down. He walked down to the cab stand and opened the rear door of the cab parked there and got in. "Take me to a motel," he said. The driver looked at him in the mirror. "You got one in mind?" "No, just someplace cheap." They drove out to a place called the Trail Motel, and Moss got out with his bag and the document case and paid the driver and went into the office. A woman was sitting watching television. She got up and went around behind the desk. "Do you have a room?" "I got more than one." "How many nights?" "I don't know. We got a weekly rate is the reason I ask. $35 plus $1.75 tax." $36.75. $36.75. Yes, sir. For the week. Yes, sir. For the week. Is that your best rate? Yes, sir. There's not no discounts on the weekly rate. Well, let's just take it one day at a time. Yes, sir. He got the key and walked down to the room and went in and shut the door and set the bags on the bed. He closed the curtains and stood looking out through them at the squalid little court. Dead quiet. He fastened the chain on the door and sat on the bed. He unzipped the duffel bag and took out the machine pistol and laid it on the bedspread and lay down beside it.